Hey! Did you know there's literally just riches and spoils in the floor? Like, it's a good thing I base all of my knowledge off of late 2000s obscure PlayStation Network exclusive video games. Man, see this is why I love my digger. I mean, just look at that digger go! You know what, wait a second, that kind of sounds like... Hello everybody! Today, we're going to be taking a look at Digger HD, a remaster of a PC clone game based off of similar arcade classics from the time, such as Mr. Do and Dig Dug. It initially released on October 1st of 2009, exclusive to the PlayStation Store, and while an Android version with the same name does exist, it looks different, plays different, and has different content. So it's more like one of those Game Boy type ports, you feel me?
Anyway, this is also a childhood classic I have. It's what happens when you browse demos until you find something that just sticks, and by 2011 to 2012, I got the full version. So let's dig up the past and see what Digger HD has to offer. So here's the super high def main menu. What a time when virtually everything had to have HD slapped on it. Naturally, we start small. So here is the options menu. I mean, it's a PSN game, there's nothing more to expect than just the basics. Advancing, we have leaderboards. These are also fairly simple, one set for each game mode. Spoilers. These also each have separate viewing modes at least. Well, what could possibly be better than seeing a leaderboard? Why, it's the actual game said scores are for! Of course, as you can tell by these luscious graphics, that this is that PC version I was talking about. Or rather, a redone port of it since this is a PS3. Here's an actual PC version of the game with the original Popcorn OST intact. As for the raw answer as to what Digger is, it's a sort of retro endless maze runner type game where the goal is to dig out as many gems as possible without getting your shit rocked.
You know, I don't know why they made so many of these. Like, what freak wanted to play a bunch of remade 80s games in the late 2000s?
The game itself has a few mechanics reminiscent to that of other titles, such as the falling moneybags, most similar to that of the rocks from Dig Dug. You are also granted the ability to fight back with a little shot, although it's fitted with a cooldown. But not only can you fight back, should the ops touch each other too much, they themselves gain the ability to dig too. Digger HD obviously has several enhancements, the most major additions being new enemy types, power-ups, and a bunch of levels. While the game itself doesn't differ from its initial competition, you can't fault it from leeching off a tried and true gameplay style. Even the theming, while not original, kind of works in favor of the Digger.
The sweet sounds of heavy machinery.
Normally, I'd call out a game for shamelessly ripping off another title, but Digger is so old, Dig Dug is just obscure in this day and age, and this is definitely one of the better done quote-unquote rip-offs, that letting it slide is okay with me. This $10 remake also has a fair bit of content. This is definitely how you pull one of these off. The presentation is very nice, controls are coherent and match the original whilst cleaning up any old 80s jank, plus it includes the original game and features more competent modes which I will go over in just a bit, minus multiplayer, which yes this has, local only however, which you know is fine for 2009. The music and character designs really resonate with me. This game truly makes Digger feel like its own thing. Far better than a Kix++, but not quite a Pac-Man Championship Edition DX+. Know what I mean? Now, moving forward, let's get into Arcade, which seems to be HD's main mode. While I haven't fully completed this mode, it's not because of its length or difficulty. I mean, don't get me wrong. 60 levels is totally okay for an older digital-only game of this magnitude. Actually, it's quite a lot in that regard. And some later levels actually got quite difficult, and the progressive is very good. There's just not too much variation, and I can only play so much before I get bored. Although some of that is just me, Digger isn't exactly a priority in my life at the moment. The major changes from world to world is the theme, enemies, power-ups, and a bonus game or two. Yes, nothing too crazy, this is far better for short bursts. There are game overs, and you can lose your progress if you're not careful. But technically, you have infinite continues, so it's just a decent romp through some maze game levels. For the other major game mode, it's far more arcadey than the arcade mode. This is Survival, an endless loop designed as a modernized version of the vintage/original game. This mode, much like the old school version, has some merit to it as it's a battle for the high score, now with achievements sprinkled in. This mode is much more of a challenge for you thrill seekers out there, as you only work on one set of lives and your skill to prosper and survive. But is not as in-depth as Arcade, both of which are adapted into the aforementioned co-op modes. Final verdict. Digger HD can easily drill out an 8 out of 10. A PlayStation Network game with more competence than some physical releases at the time. It truly brings out the best of what at the time was a simple PC clone game from the 80s. Of course, it's nothing super stellar, but any big fan of arcade-style titles will definitely enjoy this, and you know what, I recommend it for that.
And there you have it, my review of Digger HD. Definitely one of the better 80s reimagining games from these periods. I will get to the fabled Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus, whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, this is definitely one of the better examples, and it has a lot more to offer. And I'd say this is more or less the gold standard, but it's not the highest of 7.5s, but still a very good one. Now, just give me a second. I need to be on my way. Oh, hey guys, turns out everyone hates me now, especially after that intro segment. And can you believe it's not because I dug holes everywhere?
There he is! I see it! That's the guy! Oh no!
Well, got a blast.